Yes, Mr. President. Heidi Hensley, Linda Davis,
Here.
Mary P. Bagby, Dr. Patricia Yeager,
Here.
Tim Denson, Dr. Mumby Anderson, Dr. Lakeisha Gant, Janelle Simpson, Mark Evans.
Here. Okay, all right. Well, since we do have quorum, we can begin our business meeting. And so the president's report, from now on, I'm going to be typing up the president's report. I'll be reading this one, but if there's something where we know that there's going to be like where we're going to need a lot of time for a discussion or things like that, then I'll just say, hey, the president's report is in assembly, and then we will go straight into business. But since we kind of have a lighter one, I wrote a little bit more than I normally would. So, good evening, everyone. First, a big warm welcome to John L. Simpson, joining us on the Board of Education for District 8. We're glad to have you and look forward to working together with you. Thank you to Dr. Scott and the entire team for a wonderful convocation and a smooth first day of school. There are always a few wrinkles, but for the most part, it truly seemed to go off without a hitch. And to Principal Garcia at J.J. Harris, thank you for allowing me to help the car rider line that first morning. Seeing the kids arrive so excited about a new year of learning was one of those good reminders of why we do this work. I also had the honor of attending the homegoing service for Mrs. Johnny Leigh Burks at Clark Middle School. It was a beautiful and inspiring service and a meaningful reminder of the lasting impact one person can have on a school community and the lives of so many others. We're also continuing to build a culture of literacy across Clark County. There will be plenty of events and opportunities for families and community members to be part of that work, and I'm sure Dr. Scott will highlight some of those during her report at the regular business meeting. I also want to thank our community for speaking up for students for undocumented families who hope to pursue dual enrollment. We have heard those concerns loud and clear, and we share the belief that these students deserve meaningful opportunities to continue their education. While there are legal and financial limits surrounding the use of public funds, our district has worked hard to identify lawful pathways that respect those requirements while also supporting our students. We are comfortable with the choices that have been made, and most importantly, our students are comfortable with these choices as well. We are grateful for the community's outspokenness, compassion, generosity of spirit, and concern for these students and their families. Those concerns are our concerns too. And families who may be feeling anxious because of recent immigration enforcement activity in our community, please hear this. When your children are with us, they are cared for, valued, and safe. We believe education is a human right and that every child deserves the opportunity to learn in a place where they can simply be a child. Our schools are extensions of your families, and we take the trust you place in us very seriously. We want you to be able to send your children to school knowing that we will care for them, support them, and do everything we can to make our schools places where they feel safe and ready to learn. A couple of board reminders before I close. Please complete the board self-assessment by Friday, August the 21st. I also remind you that we have our board retreat that we held on September 2nd, beginning with a light breakfast at 8 a.m. More information will follow. And for that concludes the president's report. Do any board members have anything that they would like to say? Okay, seeing how, then we will move on to the next item. If I can find, there we go, which is the policy review for public comment. So the first one, oh, we do, see, yeah. I'm so excited. It's my first time, I'm a work in progress, people. I promise I'll get this right at some point at like 2030 or so. All right, so number 4, presentations, disparity update.
And thank you, Mr. President. If we would have Ms. Veronica Jackson and her team to come forward, they will be providing you with an update on our disparity report.
Well, good evening, everyone. Mr. President, board members, and Dr. Scott, thank you all so much for having us here tonight. Of course, we're here tonight to give an update on the disparity study, as well as speak about the recommendations that were presented by Griffin and Strong, and also talk about how we will move forward within the study and those recommendations. Before we get into the context and for our new board members, of course, I am Veronica Jackson. I am the Purchasing and Contract Supervisor. Just a little background, I have been with the district since 2005. Started in instructional services, was hired at that time by Dr. Jose Boza. That's been so many years ago. And then in 2012, I transitioned into this role. On our very first recommendation of the Disparity Study, it tells us that we needed staffing and some support. So I'm so grateful that Mr. Joshua Black, he serves as the purchasing assistant along with me, as well as he does surplus, he oversees that, and also the outreach as well. We're so happy to have Ms. Lolita Bryant. She is actually not under our office, but she is also our outreach liaison. She's been in the district since 2013, and also she actually started in payroll and then transitioned, and she's at the community at ACCA at the moment. Also, Mr. Black, he's been with the district since 2018, and I just think that's very important to provide that contact as well. Lolita, Ms. Bryant has been very instrumental in our collaboration as far as the community outreach, and we're thankful for her support also. How did we arrive at the update? Of course, back in 2022, we did do a solicitation for Disparity Study. Griffin and Strong, they were selected. Griffin and Strong actually came back in August 10th, 2023 to present those findings and recommendations to the board. In June of 2024, our first procurement advisory team, they were established at that time. And then we came back to the board in September to give an update on where we were headed to in this study. And of course, on today, we're here to provide an update. Why we conducted the study, I think that's very important, and I'm sure all of you have read those findings, that report, that final report about the contracting opportunities, the participation, business availability, identify those disparities and barriers that prevent from participation. Also, the review of the procurement practices, and then the outreach and vendor access. All of those works included in that study, as well as develop recommendations and improvement for the competition and transparency of that as well. I want to go through those recommendations. It was a total of 11 of those recommendations. And I wanted to highlight those that have also been implemented, as well as those that are ongoing as well. Of course, the first one, as I already alluded to, was the added staff and resources. Of course, we do have staff, and we do have those resources. The participation goal, that's something that's in process and in progress that we'll continue to work on, and we will talk about that as we get into this presentation. Expand those small businesses opportunities, that is what we call our professional services. It's also included in our policy, and we have gone along and made those small firms, we tried to expand those as well. Blind bidding, of course, based on those qualifications, which is very important, and so we made that a priority when looking at those bid processes. Breaking out large contracts into smaller opportunities, we have been doing a good job of that, as well as Mr. Gilbert and his staff. We take small contracts, either if it's for service areas, we can break them out into east or west, and also for those larger contracts within Mr. Gilbert's office, he also breaks those out as well, whether it's electrician, plumbing, all of those are broken out as well. And then simplifying that paperwork. What we saw is that the paperwork we had, even though the components of it was large, it was only about 4 pages. And sometimes the process, instead of giving it to an individual, sometimes it takes time to educate. And again, that's part of our recommendation and part of our presentation on how we did education on simplifying that paperwork. Except recognized certifications, we have partner, and again, you will hear this in the presentation, Georgia Apex is also helping us with that certification, and so we're so excited for that partnership. Expand vendor outreach and communication, that was done as well. Share upcoming opportunities earlier. We're able to forecast those contracts that we know that are coming up. We're able to forecast those and make those available for those that are interested in that. And then connect vendors with business support. Going back to our chamber, our partnership with UGA, those workshops that we have, that's been very instrumental in helping us with that vendor support piece as well, and then supporting those businesses. And then number 11, that's a part of those 2 that are in progress, and that's that vendor and contract data tracking. And so that's another area. So out of those 11, we have already implemented 9. So we do have 2 of those remaining. We did come up with an advisory team, and I think this is very important that we were able to be very transparent. We even brought Griffin and Strong into that advisory team collaboration so that they can provide that background that's needed. We were able to, and they were able to listen and to those vendor experiences, advise on those strategies based on what we had presented from those businesses, and then connect with the community. We felt like that was very important because of that connection from those businesses, and then share that with our advisory team, and they gave us great input, and then kind of help us on how to move forward with that. And we had a total of 2 advisory teams, as you can see, the first one there, 2024, 2025, and you can see the names of those that were included. And then 2025, 2026. And we had a couple of people that kind of transitioned from our first team to the second, but other than that, all of those participants, they were new each time to that advisory team. And we felt like that was very important in that work. I thought it was very important because even though we're in the process of implementing some systems to help us look at that data, we were able to capture some of the vendors that have already been registered. We went back to 2024, 2025, 2026, and as you can see, we do have a total of 5,169. These are active vendors. And in that, again, we are not able to, and we're in process of utilizing those new systems to capture that. But I wanted to capture this particular model as far as the vendor participation because I think it's so very important. When you look back at the study, it talks about that 78% of those vendors that they went out and did some research were not registered. And to see those numbers are very helpful, even though we don't have our final numbers as of yet. And then the remaining recommendations, which I think is very important that is in progress, is as I stated with our Munis ERP system, we are now able to go in and capture those demographics. We'll also have a new electronic bidding platform that's going to help us with those business classifications as well and help us with that data. And then the implementation process is already underway. We actually have about 2 more weeks left for that electronic bidding platform. But our ERP system, we were able to go in and show those demographics. And now, as we are adding vendors to that, we're actually able to see and to add that information there in that ERP system also. I'm going to bring up Ms. Bryant. She's going to talk about the vendor education piece. After her, it will be Mr. Black, and then I'll come back up and introduce a couple of people that are our guests, 2 of which are from our advisory team, and also we have someone from a vendor perspective as well.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. One of the clearest findings from the study was that the access involves more than the study was that access involves more than simply making opportunities available. Businesses must also understand how to identify those opportunities, respond correctly, and successfully work within the district procurement process. We have expanded our vendor education efforts through workshops, as Ms. Jackson mentioned, covering several important areas. We began by helping vendors understand the overall procurement process, how purchasing decisions are made as a district, where opportunities are posted, where they can find them, and what businesses should expect when working with our school district. We also provide guidance on responding to IFBs, RFPs, and RFQs. These solicitation types can be confusing to our small and local businesses, but they're new to government contracting. Our goal is to explain the differences between those different types of solicitations, review what those requirements are, and help businesses understand how to submit more complete and competitive responses. Additional workshops have focused on accounts payable and invoicing. Winning an opportunity is just part of the process. Our vendors also should understand purchase orders, invoicing requirements, payment procedures, and the documentation that they need to avoid payment delays. Finally, we address with our vendors contract management expectations, so vendors understand their responsibilities after they are awarded a bid. And through all of these educational opportunities, we are working to remove those barriers that were identified in the study to strengthen vendor readiness and help businesses compete with more confidence. And as we develop these opportunities, we also recognize the best way to improve our vendor experience was to hear directly from our vendors and local businesses about navigating our process. Our improvement efforts have been informed by direct conversations. As Ms. Jackson identified, our advisory team, with conversations with them. Some of them are some of our current vendors and community partners. We asked them to tell us what was working. We wanted to hear from them, where they experienced some of the challenges that were expressed, and what would make it easier for them to do business with Clark County School District. And their feedback that we received has helped us focus in these 4 key areas. The first is process review. We examine what our vendors were facing when it came to procedures and identifying requirements or steps that may create unnecessary confusion or create barriers, particularly for our smaller and newer businesses. The second area is vendor orientation. This is something that we are in development in. A lot of our businesses told us that they needed clearer information about what our district expected, procurement terminology about registration, bidding, invoicing, and what happens after they receive a contract. Our third area is the area where website enhancement. Vendors should not have to search through multiple pages, that some of the feedback that we received, to contact several people to locate just the basic information. We're working to make sure procurement resources are easier to find and navigate on our website, including how to do business video tutorials as well. The fourth area is communication. businesses want clearer and more consistent information about purchasing opportunities, like upcoming events, training, and also available resources for our local businesses. And the important point is that these improvements are not just being developed in isolation. We're listening to our vendors, and they are helping us identify those practical changes that can create a more accessible, transparent, and user-friendly process when it comes to procurement. We also know that the district cannot provide every business with every type of assistance alone. We can't do that alone. That is why we are really big on strong community partnerships as our central work to this work that we're doing. Sorry. The Business Connect initiative is designed, that we've come together to put together, is designed to provide education, technical assistance, and relationship building opportunities throughout the year. Not only when we have solicitations, but also, and not only when we have events, but ongoing efforts as well. The series focuses on procurement education for our vendors, bid process, preparation, technical assistance, and connections to community resources. This year-round approach allows businesses to build their knowledge and their readiness over time. Our community partners bring different areas of expertise to this work. The Athens Area Chamber of Commerce has helped us tremendously in connecting us to local businesses to bring awareness of our efforts here as a district, but they also help our local businesses by providing opportunities to them. The University of Georgia, we have partnered with them for the last 2 years with us on procurement education, not only how to do business with them, but also some of the things that they can set up through UGA will set them up for other government contracting opportunities. Georgia Tech's Apex Accelerator program provides a more specialized technical assistance. This includes helping businesses understand government contracting and what that looks like, and how they can prepare for solicitations and strengthen their capacity to compete as well. Athens-Clarke County Unified Government, we have partnered with them as well, which is also an important procurement partner. This partnership allows us to share information and connect businesses with opportunities and resources beyond Clarke County School District. So together with all of these resources, and we also have ACE Funding, who also provides great funding for our local businesses that don't require all of the requirements that your big banks offer, but some of the smaller funding that our smaller businesses might need just to get them going. All of these collaborative efforts and approach to this helps us move from hosting just individual events to building sustainable vendor development system within our own community. In addition to offering education and partner support, we are developing practical tools that will make each step of the vendor journey easier to understand. This slide here highlights the areas of resource development intended to simplify that vendor journey. The first is our website, as we've mentioned. We are working toward a more centralized and user-friendly location where businesses can find vendor registration information, current bidding opportunities, frequently asked questions, and other essential resources. The second is vendor orientation. This orientation will give businesses a clear introduction to working with us. It will explain common procurement terminology, and it walk vendors through key procedures and provide guidance on areas such as registration, bidding, purchase orders, and invoicing. Kind of like when we do with our onboarding with our new hires, this is what we're developing for our vendors as we put them in the system. The third area is resource development. Planned resources include vendor handbook. This is all in development. Step-by-step checklist, information about applicable codes and requirements, and guidance on business certifications. And through this process, we are, what's in development is once a vendor is put into our system and they're new, they went through all the requirements, they will receive a CCSD certified vendor certification as well. These tools are designed to work together. A vendor should be able to visit our website, understand how to register, learn terminology, review the appropriate checklists, identify available resources, and know who to contact with questions. reduce the confusion that a lot of our vendors have expressed, increase transparency, and help vendors begin the process with confidence. We want businesses to understand what is expected before they invest significant time preparing a response. While these resources will benefit all of our vendors, they can be especially valuable to our small and local minority-owned, veteran-owned, and women-owned businesses that may have limited experience with public procurement. We are also looking beyond digital resourcing by creating an opportunity for vendors to receive face-to-face support as well. And this is what we have put together, Business Connect Center. This center represents the next step in making vendor support more accessible and personal. Although the website, the handbooks, the workshops are important, we recognize that some businesses, some owners benefit from being able to sit down with someone, ask questions, and receive the guidance based on their specific situation. This center is intended to provide personalized assistance from the purchasing and contracts team. Vendors can receive help understanding how to register, where to locate bidding opportunities, what documentation they may be required, and how to begin doing business with Clark County School District. The center also serves as a resource connection point. Depending on a vendor's needs, we could connect the business with training, technical assistance, certification information, and support available through one of our community partners. A third purpose is opportunity access. Vendors can learn about upcoming procurement workshops, networking events, and other ways to connect with district departments and decision makers. The photograph shows the type of face-to-face environment we envision. A welcoming space where our business owners can have focused conversations, receive practical guidance, and leave with clearly defined next steps. The Business Connect Center is not intended to give any vendor an advantage in the competitive process. Procurement rules, fairness, and confidentiality will continue to be maintained. Its purpose is to make general information and assistance more accessible to everyone. Ultimately, this initiative supports our larger commitment to transparency, stronger relationships, and broader participation in our district's contracting opportunities. And I'll bring up Mr. Black now, and he will speak more on our relationship building efforts that extend outside of the district offices.
Thank you. My name is Joshua Black. I'm the purchasing assistant, and I just wanted to speak on, we did some midday meetups, and our midday meetups was kind of collaborated on getting out into the community, being boots on the ground, meeting with different restaurants and going out to their services and being able to have our flyers and things posted through public relations, and for them to be able to advertise their restaurants while also advertising our events. Those are some places that we have been to up there, Food for the Soul, Chick-fil-A, Metro Diner, Johnny's New York Style Pizza, Mellow Mushroom, and Mama's Boy. We've been actively boots on the ground, so these are some pictures that we've had, that we've taken in the past during our events that we've had. During our Journey 1, we hosted our first event here. We had sponsors here, Northeast Black Chamber. We also had ACE Funding here. We also had Pillar Insurance. And after that event, we had over 30 new vendors that was able to sign up that we put in the same day of doing that event. Our year 2, we ended up having another primetime event where we had all department heads in the school district to be able to come out, host a table, and be able to give information and vital information to new vendors or current vendors that was already with us to be able to sit there face to face to be able to speak with everybody. And the vendors were very happy. They got in touch with accounts payable to see them face to face. They also got in touch with the spouse to be able to see them face to face to hear about the new things that we have in store. Looking ahead, we're looking to do our primetime event. Before our event comes, we're looking to do about 4 to 6 midday meetups across the whole Athens area. Right now, we already have 2 scheduled where we'll be doing 2 midday meetups, one at Butter Bites, and that will be on September 16th. Then we have another one that we'll be doing at Grindhouse Killer Burger, and that will be on September 24th. As we get with our public relations team, they will be able to post a flyer and have it out so everyone can be able to see and advertise the event to be able to come out and support us with our event and also support those small local businesses that are around. We're also looking to do 2 church home-based visits where we can go to a church and be able to speak there and also talk more about our events. So if you have any churches that you have in mind, please feel free to reach out to us. We don't mind coming out to your church and being able to advertise our events. And I'll bring up Ms. Jackson.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant, Mr. Black. Thank you so much. Sometimes it's good to hear what we're doing, but I also think it's good to hear those testimonials from the advisory team and also feedback from a vendor. So we have a vendor feedback today from Joshua Harris. He's with Harris Disposal. We have 2 of our advisory team members, Ms. Kimberly Thomas and also Ms. Jessica Roberts. So if they would come up and then they will give you their view because they have been a part of this process as well.
Good evening. My name is Kim Thomas, and I own Classic City Travel. I am a proud graduate of Clark County School District, 1985, Clark Central High School, the best high school in the county and in this state. I also am a proud Double Dog, University of Georgia, and I have worked at the school district. A few years back, for 6 years, I served as the Executive Director of Facility Operations for Clark County School District. I have worked at the university and retired as the Senior Director of Facility Services at UGA. And as you have heard from Ms. Jackson and her really hardworking team, I have been on the procurement advisory team for 2 years, bringing in that experience from working at the district, being a graduate, raising children, being married, going to college here. So I've been in Athens and around this area for a long time. And then coming back as a small business owner, being able to share some of that experience across many different areas, I think was very important and very helpful to talk about as a small business owner, what type of impact having that large packet for vendor registration was, and being able to walk through that. And with my experience, knowing that I could do that, but knowing that there are a lot of other small business owners who had challenges. So her team was very thoughtful in that type of feedback, and I think that's very important. Also, I just want to highlight a few things, and then I'll move so that you can hear from Ms. Roberts and Mr. Harris. But some of the things that I have found very important as a member on the advisory team is how we have hopefully tried to work on communication and transparency. You've heard that before, and you heard a little bit about the midday meetups and the Primetime Business Connect sessions. The impact of that is not only are we small business owners that are here to provide a service, I think we also want to be of service to the school district. And some of that kind of touches base in knowing that we have ways that we communicate with different platforms outside of the district, whether we go to church here, whether we are members of other community organizations or the Chamber of Commerce. So having the connection from the advisory team to be able to share what's going on in the district, what opportunities are there. We have been, very strong advocates for, hey, if you haven't already tried to work for the district, this is a great opportunity to see what they have to offer so that you may be able to provide that service to the district. Having a greater access to doing business with the district. One of the things I want to highlight there is having that great electronic payment system. Yay, I really like getting paid on time through that platform. That's been really great as a small business owner instead of waiting on a payroll check to come in the mail, for example. Not a payroll check, but a payment for services check to come through the mail. Providing education to vendors on what services are needed, I touched on that, but just being able as an advisory team member to know that if there is a procurement or a business opportunity to be able to share that flyer. We have been doing that through our contacts, through our organizations, through our churches. So I think that's been really, in my mind, a strong effort to try to bring others in to cast a wider net. And then also the last thing I'll touch on, a sense of genuine effort to listen to feedback and implement those ideas to make our business relationship stronger. This has been a really great team. Even when I've called in the afternoon or sent a text message about a question, because dealing with travel, people are going all over the place. You have your professional development. I've worked with schools to send students all over for senior trips, band trips, and things of that nature. But also in those communications, making sure that I understand the district policy. So if I do get a call from someone, I can echo what the true policy is. And if there's any questions, being able to refer that back to the procurement team so that people, parents, teachers, staff get the correct answer. The feedback and the helpfulness of this team has been outstanding.
Good evening. I'm Jessica Roberts with Girl Construction, and our team has been had the great privilege of working with John Gilbreth and his team, building schools, renovating schools within the district, and as a result of that, I'm very grateful to have been a part of this advisory team. From my very first meeting, it was very clear to me that the district wants to make it easier for small business owners, large business owners to do business with the district. I have been really impressed with how the team has been so open to feedback. It was very clear that they weren't just checking boxes. They genuinely were listening to us, asking good questions, and then taking that feedback and making the changes. After one of my first meetings, we talked about how difficult it is to often find their procurement opportunities, and they changed the website in a rather fast way, so it's easier for all business owners to find that open procurement, whether it's construction, painting, whatever it may be. It was clear that they were listening and making those changes. They've been very responsive to feedback, and the way that they've been very open to communication and transparency by holding multiple community events, they have made themselves available, whether it's here in the office or out in the community, to help vendors of all sizes understand the process, to reduce the paperwork and make it easier. I feel like they've always just been a phone call away, so cheers to this team. Looking forward, I'm excited to watch this district continue to improve this process. We have an opportunity to work in many districts, and the way that this district is setting the standards for procurement is pretty impressive, and I'm grateful to have been part of the process so far.
Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Joshua Harris with Harris Disposal. So I've been in this business about 5 years, still learning, still trying new things. I've been doing this with the school district at least about 3-4 months, and it's been great, you know, learning, do invoices, you know, making sure, like, you know, my insurance, everything, you know, up to date and doing right. And I've been working with the school district, you know, back then about 5 years before I even started the business. Now I work with UGA too in the steam plant. You know, I work at nighttime, so when I leave there, I come here and, you know, make sure the school's clean and make sure the kids had a, you know, good space around them. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Josh Black, you know, because he one been helping me through this, like, and I really appreciate him. I want to tell him that. So thank y'all.
So I want to thank our advisory team members. Also want to thank you, Mr. Harris, as well. Thank you so much for that. I want to take this time to say if there's any questions and answers, I'm happy to answer those. Also, something I didn't say that I wanted to go back, because, you know, afterwards you start thinking. Back on the slide where it had the chart of the vendors, and for the work that Ms. Bryan and Mr. Black is doing, I wanted to emphasize that 75% of those new vendors actually came from the work that we're doing now. And I think that's commendable for their efforts and for our efforts in doing that. And so I just want to make sure that we knew that. So any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Bagby.
Hey, Ms. Bagley.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. I wanted to know if a vendor is interested in getting employed with the Board of Education and the school system that that part you're working with, do they call the school board for you? How do they get in touch with you and your group?
If they are looking to be a vendor,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, of course, yes. And Ms. Bagby, when we showed that picture of that community, that Business Connect Center, it's just not a picture. You can actually come to our office and it's there. And so we're always available, so yes, they can reach out to me. Thank you.
Dr. Yeager.
Hi, Ms. Jackson.
Hi, Dr. Yeager.
Just wanted to commend you all for this really great work. It's nice to see something coming out of it, and that you're recruiting new vendors is really great news. I see Mr. Ramirez is involved in your advisory board,
He is.
and I can't help but wonder if there's a way at some point, once you get your feet under you, to incorporate the students in some of this training.
Yes, we talked about that. Thank you
Entrepreneurs
so
and
much.
training and showing them some of this business that you're teaching our local vendors, because hopefully our kids will become some of our local businesses. And
Absolutely.
if we have, maybe find a way to do that, that would be terrific.
Thank you so much. And I think the team, remember at our last meeting, we did talk about bringing some of our students a part of that as well. And so thank you for stating that.
And I'll just quickly add that one of the things that we did.
Ma'am, we can't hear
Okay.
you. You have to go to the microphone. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Just wanted to mention that one of the things as vendors, we do get asked sometimes by school to come in and to present. And I know I myself, and I know some other vendors have mentored, have been involved with the, at the high school doing the business day, and shared how to become an entrepreneur, how to run a business, how to write a resume, the important things as far as interviewing. So as part of the advisory team, we have had those requests, and we have been glad to do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I had a couple of questions, and I can share majority of them. But I was curious with the advisory teams. I know that there are still some like remaining goals as
Yes.
far as like setting some outcome goals with our vendors. With the advisory teams, is it each year there is a new advisory team, or?
It has been.
Okay.
Our first year of the advisory team, it was that 24-25 team. And then last year, it was the 25-26. And because we're in that scratch of doing the measurements now, we have not chosen that new advisory team. What I am looking at, Dr. Gannon, that's a great question, because as we go into retrieving that data, I definitely want, of course, our attorney to be a part of that. I also want somebody that's do a great job as it comes to statistics, because I think that's very important. I also want to bring in some of our chamber or some of our Georgia Tech or whomever. That dynamic of this advisory team would be a little different than the past two, because we are talking about participation goals. We are talking about situations where there are legalities around it. So we want to be intentional with that as well.
Okay. And I'm assuming like that work would also, where I anticipate we're probably going is like when we first did the disparity study, we had like those findings.
Yes.
And in an ideal world,
Yeah.
at some point, maybe, definitely be beyond some of our times on the board, but like there's a time at which we go back and look at those
Absolutely.
numbers to see if we've made some progress.
Absolutely. Yeah, because at the time, and that was a great question that you said, we was at 3.96. We haven't seen those numbers, but I'm pretty sure we're
Okay.
so much better
Okay.
than where we were then.
Okay.
And what I did and what we did as a team, we kind of made this into phases. And so we had our first one was our access and engagement. That's where we went out in the community, build those relationships, those technical skills, all of that. We set that. And then we took that and we build from that. And that's when we have our systems in place and that infrastructure that we need to do the reliable measurements to get that data that you all would like to see as well. And so now we're on that third phase, which is those measurements. So
Okay.
that's where we are with that.
Okay, all right. Thank you, and thank you so much to your team. I know
Thank
you
you
all
so
have
much.
provided a lot of updates, and we see a lot of the public-facing,
Yes.
like meetings and information that's shared out on social media. So, I mean, I know it's sort of anecdotal right now. We don't have like
Right.
the outcomes, but
Yeah.
certainly can see that there is a difference in some of the things that
Absolutely.
we've been doing. So, thank you.
And thank you all as well.
Ms. Davis?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed reading every single word of your report. So that was very enlightening, and I appreciate the work that you're doing. You mentioned a word that's kind of near and dear to my heart, and that was certifications for your vendors.
Absolutely.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Absolutely. We're in a partnership with Georgia Tech Apex. And also, when it comes to the DOT, we also have a partnership with them as well. And so when those vendors come in and say, hey, I need those certifications, we have those partnerships that we can move them over to Georgia Tech or we can move them over to DOT. And so I had someone call me earlier this week that was looking for certification. And with that partnership, I was able to send them over there, and which we wasn't privy to before. So it's been a good partnership to do that.
Thank you. Your job has changed a lot, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
You like it?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm just looking forward to the outcomes so I can see the numbers in the end.
It's exciting. Thank you. I
Thank
love
you.
seeing this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you.
Ms. Bryant, Mr. Black, thank you very much for your hard work. We do appreciate it. We appreciate all that you do. And, well, you guys pick good places to eat, too. It's pretty nice. Good job. All right. All right, having said that, let's move on to policy review for public comment. The first policy that we need to look at is policy EBB. This is a first read. And let me get to that. All right, and that is safety, right? Dr. Scott, is there any changes or anything?
Sorry. There were only minor changes to remove the bullet point in section 2 of the emergency operations plan. That is no longer kept in the classrooms. It is now kept with the building leaders and in digital format. It's not a written or a printed plan.
Okay, any questions about that from anybody? Dr. Yeager?
I assume that's purposeful, so that it's not available to everyone? It's sort of internal? Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, all right, going to move on to the next one. EBL, environmental programs. This is also a first read. Dr. Stoward, any changes or anything?
Again, just some minor changes to expand to include plastics and to update the name of the ACC program.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
I'm very excited about recycling all the plastics. It's great news.
All right,
So-
okay. Oh,
I'm sorry, yes.
sorry, Ms. Davis.
Yeah, we had a little bit of conversation about the recycling program, in the, at the COC meeting too, and I'll share that information in our document, in our questions document. But again, I'm excited to see it happen. Learned a lot about what it takes to actually implement something like this. That was frightening, but okay, it's all good. Thank you.
All right, and then the last policy out for first read is policy FDBA, existing facilities inventory. Any changes on that, Dr. Scott?
No changes.
Ms. Davis?
Is there a reg that goes with this particular policy? I mean, it's short, sweet, to the point, but yeah. Do we have a reg that gives us more direction?
I do not believe there is a reg associated with that. I would have to look it up. No, there is not.
Well, and that was the reason I'm asking that is because if we don't have a reg, I'm curious as to how we actually can measure this. But again, I was late reading. I will put it in the question document, right? Thank you. I have them, I just haven't typed them up.
Okay, and then Dr. Yeager, you wanted to bring up a point? No?
Mr. Chair, I just learned how to work the microphone. In the last policy, I was thinking it should read the Athens-Clarke County Solid Waste Department. I think that's the official name of that office, so.
Oh, okay.
the word-
Got that? Okay. Thank you, sir. Sorry, I should have told you about the button. Okay. All right, and then, Dr. Yeager, did you want to bring up the? Yes, yeah, we're at that point now. We're
Okay, so it's not on the agenda, but we often have a item where we can bring up new policies
Yes.
that we'd like the district to consider working through, and I would like to propose that we consider amending policy GBR-CA, which currently is a state-based law providing duty-free lunch for K through 5 teachers who work more than half a day, or more than half of the class periods, a 30-minute lunch. And I understand that currently our middle school and high school teachers do not get duty-free lunch. They have some planning appointment or planning times, but they don't actually have formal duty-free lunch, and I'd like to consider making sure that actually every employee that works more than half a day gets a duty-free lunch as a possible policy.
So we're asking the district to take a look at that and see how we're implementing that, and maybe have a presentation for that at the next board meeting. Does that work for the district? Okay, all right. All right, then that's what we will do. Thank you, ma'am. Anybody have anything they would like to add to that? And what was that again? It was
GBR-CA states it's based on state law CGA 20-2-218. It requires a duty-free lunch for all K through 5 teachers.
Okay.
I would like to increase the people that applies to include certainly all teachers, if not all employees that work more than half a day.
Okay, all right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so anyone else have anything that they wanted to bring up? All right. Next time we will have a spot in there. My fault, Lisa. I will take responsibility for that. So that way. Also, in the next board meeting, I know that sometimes when we get in here, something pops into our brain, and then we walk out the door and leave it. Dr. Yeager came up with a very good idea about having like a note card for us, so that way, if like we're talking about another policy, we can jot down our thought, right? And then I'll collect those at the end, and then I can share them with Lisa, and then we can figure out what goes there or what goes what. So that way we can all make sure that we catch everyone's voice. Because sometimes not all of us check GroupMe, not all of us check our email, not all of us do those sorts of things. So it's a kind of a low-tech way of making sure that we all feel heard. Okay, does that work for everybody? Great, cool. All right. Moving on to 6, policies requiring board action. So these are going to be things that we can either vote on or that we can put them into. Now, do we have to vote on these or can they go into consent agenda? Okay, so if we decide that we want to put them in the consent agenda, we can say, just put it in consent agenda. Policy FDAB, which is the architect's involvement in long-range planning. Has everyone taken a look at this? There's no change or anything. So can we just add that into consent agenda? Does that work for everybody? Oh, yeah. Dr. Yant, please.
Just a point of, so clarification, this is in draft and it's going to, are we taking action on this or is it going to? Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am. We're
Gotcha,
taking
gotcha,
action on
gotcha,
this this evening.
Can we move it off of consent? I need to work through something with it just quickly.
Oh, okay. Sure. All right. Well, it's not on consent agenda now.
Oh, it's not?
No, no,
Okay.
no. So we don't have to put that on there. But is there something, do you need like a few minutes to get your thoughts together?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they were because I don't think I put them anywhere.
See,
which
this is where the
dangerous.
note card would work out.
But I was trying to figure out, Dr. Scott, there was a change that we recently made. It wasn't like specific to architects, but it was to actually help facilitate like businesses. It sort of unbundled things or either lowered the price of like contracts. It was within maybe like 3 or 4 months ago. Do you remember? Maybe 5 months ago. I can't remember. And I was just trying to remember, like, if that was related to this. Not that it's not related to like architects, but more so just sort of providing more equity with like our contracts, I think. And so just wondering, would this be something is this a policy that's needed? Like we sort of know that the authority to get contracts like is with the superintendent and with the board. And so, I don't know, I was just wondering like, what would be, like, why would this one be necessary specific to architects?
So I'm not sure which policy you're referencing that we may have made adjustments to, because you're thinking along the lines of the threshold?
Yes.
Which we would put things out to bid, maybe? Is that what you're?
Maybe that was it. I think that was it. But the purpose of that one was so that there would be more equity in like our contracts with like goods and services.
Okay, so I would have to defer to either John Gilbert or Chris Griner to see if they remember specifically with that policy, or we can look back at it.
Okay.
But for this particular one, then this is around us having an architect that we work with around our projects, that we have one.
Okay, so they're not
place.
they're not necessarily related at all. Those.
I don't think this would be related
Okay.
to the policy you're referencing.
Okay, and with this particular thing, what would be like the rationale, like to continue? I know one of the things when we talk about the disparity study is sort of having like not having opportunities, like sort of unbundled opportunities. And what would be the benefit of this? Other than like being able to work with like the same architect, but what else, how might that, or does it, have you all found that it disadvantages other
So, and
architects?
I'll ask Mr. Gilbert, how frequently do we put out or make a decision around who we contract with for this architectural work?
Typically, we do it every 5 years. We're required by Georgia DOE to do a 5-year plan that we update annually. and that requires an architectural sign-off. So we will usually, when we have a SPLOST vote and we're approved, then we put out the architecture bid at that time.
Gotcha. And so us agreeing to that extended time helps with the 5-year plan that we're required to.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Davis?
So, yes, and so sometimes the policies just jump out and they make perfectly good sense, but thank you for sharing that, because it seemed like this one's just kind of floated up, and I wasn't sure if we were looking to, well, I don't even know the process for how we do the architectural. I know that you go out to bid on architects, is that right? Is that part of the whole construction contract? And so this one kind of sat out there like, are we changing that, or is it, it's kind of hard to believe it's been sitting around too for, well, it's only been out there 6 years now. So is there any change happening in terms of how we go about acquiring the architect? Or are we just updating this because it's over the 5-year limit, and are we still living by
Yes,
the 5-year limit?
it's just an update because it's at the 5-year, or a review at the 5-year. And so the policy says that we will review them at 5 years, and so this one hit within that time frame. So that's why it came before you all.
Okay, and so I thought that the architects were specific to the work, right? Is that still consistent? And I'll tell you what's front and center in my mind, of course, is West Broad, and we already have an architect, right, for that project. So what does this do? It just allows us to continue to operate business as usual?
It provides continuity with our architectural services that we have, you know, for our projects. You primarily want a K-12 architect when you're doing educational facilities. And again, this policy relates to the 5-year plan, the planning process. So that, and which we need an architect to sign off on that.
So it's specific to the 5-year plan, not to a particular project?
It's specific to the, yeah, the long-term, long-range plan.
So it's more
yes.
administrative kind of thing?
Yes.
All right, thank you, that's helpful. Appreciate it.
Dr. Gant, do you still want to vote on this, or can we put it in the consent agenda? Okay, we're going to put that in the consent agenda. So thank you very much. So FDAB will go into consent, all right? And that leaves us to GCR, well, but did I catch everyone? Did everyone get a chance? Okay. All right, can we go to policy GCRA, the drug screening for bus drivers? I think we've talked about this a lot, so does anyone have any questions? All right, Ms. Bagby.
I have a question on this policy at point. The policy is .7, and it says a school bus driver found to have any measurable alcohol in his or her system during the school day shall be subject to disciplinary action at the discretion of the local school board. So if there's the question is, if it's a law that they're not supposed to have alcohol, why does the school board have a discretion? Because is the person drinking while on the job? Is it an off day that they randomly tested the person?
Mr. Swartz, I'll let you kind of take that, but yeah, I'll let you go ahead and answer.
Yeah. I believe, from my understanding of reading, it says in their system, so it's not necessarily possession, like holding alcohol, but maybe they consumed it before they reported to work. And I think it's written in that way, from my understanding, so that we can address the severity of the situation. There are some things, as I've researched this from last time, some things like mouthwash or even some cough medicine that can have some very small traces of alcohol. Or if you've actually consumed like a large amount of alcohol, then we can, handle those address the severity of the situation. So.
And as far as whether or not we randomly test, then it's testing either because they were involved in some form of a traffic incident, then that's an automatic testing, or if there's a suspicion of being under the influence.
They also
wasn't
have
thinking about
testing based off of
mouthwash.
CDL requirements.
And yes.
Okay.
Anyone else? Dr. Gant?
Yes, just a clarification. So when the driver is found to have used an illegal drug and like termination occurs, because, we sort of lay the foundation that they're operating a motor vehicle. Can you all remind me if when addiction is involved, I think I'm getting my policies mixed up, but when addiction is involved, that employee is still terminated, even if they like say, hey, I have an addiction and I need support from EAP. So I'm not necessarily saying they go back to driving, but I guess what I'm asking is if there's an addiction involved, what other recourse does the employee have to either be stationed or relocated or to get the support that they need?
So I will let Mr. Swartz or Mr. Pruitt respond, but it's my understanding that they cannot be found to be in possession or be under the influence and then say, well, I have an addiction, and that would
Okay.
negate them being terminated.
Mm-hmm.
But I would defer to them for clarification.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The only legal protection there is the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, does have protection against terminating someone as perceived to have a disability because they were a past user, but they're clean now.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only folks who are protected.
Okay.
Anyone else? So do we want to put this on a vote, or do we want to put that in consent agenda? You want to vote? Okay, all right, this one will go for a full board vote. That's policy GCRA, drug screening of bus drivers. Okay, well, that leads us to agenda item number 7, business items for discussion for consent agenda. How about this? Normally, we would just read these things off, but that seems like a lot of time. So how about if anyone here, and remember, any board member can pull anything for any reason, okay? So if you have something that you would like to pull, A, B, C, D, E, A through E, just say, and I'll just say, I'll ask you, and you say, can you please pull A, or can you please pull B? And we'll do that. How does that sound? Does that work for everybody? Does that work for you, Dr. Scott? Yeah, okay. Anyone here have any major heartburn with anything on here? Dr. Gant?
I don't have heartburn. I do have a quick question. When I was reviewing the field trips, and it just popped in my head, so it's not too urgent, but it made me wonder with with the budgets for field trips, Classic City and the alternative school, they have budgets for field trips? Okay, all right. I was just curious.
So well, Classic City does earn QBE, and so they do get their general fund, but we also allocate funding towards the Learning Center for special events, activities, and things that Dr. Tolbert wants to plan for the students.
All right, so I could just say we're going to go with everything? Everything okay? Okay, then everything A through E goes into the consent agenda. So we have, in the consent agenda, we have policy FDAB, and then A through E, and then we will have discussion on policies GCRA. Okay, we don't have executive session, do we, or any personnel matters? No? No? Okay. So that leads to number 10, which is our favorite time, adjournment. So we will be adjourned this work session until 7 o'clock. So, okay, all right, thank you much. Thank you, everyone.
President. Heidi Hensley.
Here.
Mary P. Bagby. Linda Davis.
Here.
Dr. Patricia Yeager.
Here.
Tim Denson. Dr. Mumby Anderson. Dr. Lakeisha Gant.
Here.
Janelle Simpson.
Here.
Mark Evans.
Here. Now we come to the part of the program where we have a silent meditation, and then I will ask our newest board member, Mr. Simpson, to start us off with the Pledge of Allegiance. For those of you who have not been here in a while, the American flag is right over here to your, that would be your left. Yeah, to your left. Okay. It's a good thing I was in the Army for 6 years. Told me all that. So we'll begin our moment of silence now. All please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And now that we have done that, we come to our favorite part, which is awards and recognition. All righty, so take it away.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Evans, Dr. Scott. Good evening, board members. We have a couple of recognitions tonight celebrating several of our schools, as you can see, for recent outstanding achievements. First up, we'd like to recognize 3 of our elementary schools who were named literacy leaders by the Georgia Department of Education and are being presented with their literacy leader banners this evening. These schools demonstrated exceptional growth in third grade reading scores as measured by the percentage of third grade students who scored proficient or above on the Georgia Milestones reading test during the 24-25 school year compared to the previous year, 23-24. First up, and I'll ask Dr. Elder to come up with the banners as I call their names, with a 17% increase in third grade reading proficiency, we have Winterville Elementary School. Winterville. I'm going to ask in this case, the principal, Ms. Goforth, we're going to take her photo, then we're going to ask you to move to the side, and then when everybody gets their banner, we'll ask you all to come up for a photo, because this is certainly worth commemorating with the board. Next up, with an 18.1 increase, Fowler Drive Elementary School. Now you'll notice the ribbons at the bottom. The first time you get this banner, you get a banner, and then you get ribbons afterwards each year. Yeah. And, did you get pictures? Okay, you'll just step over there. And with a 24.2% increase, Betty Henderson Holston Elementary School. Next up, we have our math masters for 3 of our middle schools who were named Masters of Mathematics by the Georgia Department of Education for their achievement and growth among 8th graders who took the Algebra Concepts and Connections end-of-course exam during the 24-25 school year. First up, earning the High School Achievement Award for the 2nd year in a row, with more than 90% of 8th graders who took the algebra exam scoring proficient or above, we have Bernie Harris Lyons Middle School. Now you'll see what I just referenced as Ms. Turman and her team come up. She will be receiving ribbons because she's already done this once and has proof that her banner is proudly hanging in the school. Okay, we'll just have you step to the side for one big picture. With a 28.6% increase in eighth grader proficiency from 23-24 to 24-25 and earning the high school growth recognition, we have Hillsman Middle School. And earning the high school growth recognition and increasing proficiency by 28.6%, Clark Middle School. Clark? It's upside down. Just flip, there we go. Rotate. Rotate. And finally, we'd like to celebrate J.J. Harris Elementary School for receiving the John Hancock Student Signature Award from the Georgia Department of Education. J.J. Harris? No, they were so excited. They must have gotten stuck in traffic because there's no way they would not have come for this. They've been waiting for this. But I'm going to tell you what it is. Just hold it right there for a minute. This award celebrates schools that go above and beyond in the teaching of cursive writing, a skill that builds students' fine motor strength, enhances their literacy, and allows them to engage meaningfully with historic texts in their original form. J.J. Harris submitted a portfolio to the state last year and earned the proficiency ribbon after demonstrating that more than 90% of their students during the 24-25 school year were able to write their full name in cursive. Please join me in congratulating them. And we'll have all of our banner recipients come right on back up. Come on up. There we go. And we'll ask our board members to make their way up as well. Now, in the past, we've gotten one banner. We've gotten a couple of banners. This is something that started, I think, 3 years ago. I think 1 year we got 3 banners. This is truly proof that we are making progress on a regular basis. Okay, now scooch in a little bit. There we go. Yes, scooch, scooch. Come on up. If you can't see the camera, we can't see you, so there we go. Come on up and peek through. There we go. All right, look at Scott. Straighten your banner just a little bit. There we go. Perfect.
Here on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Wonderful, thank you. Let's give all of these hard workers a round of applause. And we look forward to giving each of you your ribbons next year and welcoming others to the stage for the first time. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about some philanthropy within our district. Relay for Life. Nearly 20 individual school and district teams, and nearly 20 means 19, for those who are wondering, across CCSD participated in this event over the past year and raised over $36,000 in the fight against cancer to raise money for support and research, contributing to the area organization's total of more than $200,000. We are pleased to be joined tonight by Ms. Christina Chandler, Senior Event Manager for the American Cancer Society and the leader of the Greater Athens Relay for Life event, and some people she brought with her who are very close to the event as well, and they have some prize checks to award to our top fundraising teams who participated in the Schools for Cancer group for middle and elementary teams during the 2026 Greater Athens Relay for Life campaign. At this time, I'd like to invite Christina up to the stage. First up, our top fundraising team with $11,386 raised was Timothy Road Elementary School, led by, yeah, give him a hand. Led by team captain Jane Ann Ridings. Come on up. And we're going to ask you all to do the same thing. If you'll stand there for your photo. Yep, go on up, everybody. We know that it took many, many people to do that. We're going to take a photo, then ask you to step to the side. And because we believe philanthropy is important, particularly setting a model for our students, we're going to take a picture with the board as well. With $4,461 raised, Whitehead Road Elementary School, led by Team Captain Blakely Green. Whitehead Road, come on up, Miss Green. With $3,752 raised, Bernie Harris Lyons Middle School, led by Megan Hardy. With $3,741 raised, Oglethorpe Avenue Elementary School, led by Catherine Orozco. With $1,356 raised, Whit Davis Elementary, led by Maria Bass. With $1,154, Cleveland Road Elementary School, led by Carla Williams. Now, if you all will make your way back in, we'll ask the board to make their way forward, and we'll get everybody in a photo. While we do that, I'll tell you that our district showed up for Relay for Life, sweeping the most money raised by schools in all categories. Timothy Road Elementary, elementary leader, Bernie Harris Lyons, middle school leader, and at the high school, Clark Central, whose team raised $3,649. Now, this isn't just elementary, middle, and high school from our county. This is a regional event that encompasses several, 5 or 6 counties. Ms. Chandler will tell you more about that in just a minute. So that is quite the feat, and we appreciate you teaching your children the importance of philanthropy and for representing our district so well. Thank you. You all may be seated. Now at this time, yeah, give them some more, yeah. That's in addition to getting all those banners and all the things. Congratulations and many thanks to each of these teams. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Chandler to share a couple of words about Relay for Life.
Hi everyone, my name is Christina Chandler and I'm with the American Cancer Society. I'm excited to be here tonight representing the Relay for Life of Greater Athens area. It includes 6 counties actually. And we were recognizing the 6 Clark County school districts that qualified for the 2026 Schools vs. Cancer grants. Through Schools vs. Cancer, students have the opportunity to learn about cancer, understand the impact it has on families and communities, and most importantly, learn that they can make a difference. And Clark County really showed up this year. Collectively, Clark County schools raised $36,000 through Relay for Life. Of those schools, 6 qualified for the Schools vs. Cancer grant based on the program requirements. Those 6 schools collectively raised $25,853. And tonight we are excited to return $2,110 directly to those schools through grants. But behind every dollar raised is a person. Cancer touches families, schools, teachers, students, and communities in so many different ways. And that's really what Relay for Life is about. Bringing people together to celebrate those who have faced cancer, remember those who have lost, and continuing fighting for those who are still fighting. We are fortunate to have Sharon Stevens with us tonight. Sharon is a volunteer on our Relay for Life event leadership team, and she's going to share a little bit about why she relays. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sharon Stevens. Over the years, cancer has attacked my mother, my father, grandfather, husband, daughter, son-in-law, several aunts, uncles, cousins, and dear friends, and me. My first Relay for Life was as a survivor in 2004. I was so moved and so impressed with the Relay for Life, I've been relaying ever since. My hope and prayer is the eradication of this demon called cancer. And I really appreciate everyone for helping with the fight.
Thank you. We do plan to participate next year, and we already have, I think, 7 teams signed up. And I also want to give a shout out to our district office team, who believes we have to lead by example, for raising more than $2,000. So thank you very much, Ms. Chandler, Ms. Stevens, Dr. Scott, Mr. Evans. That concludes our recognitions for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, now is the time, yeah, just time to go. We understand. Feel like St. Francis with the birds, you know, okay. So next on the agenda is public comment. We have no public comments this evening, so we will move right along. I need a motion to adopt the agenda as written.
So move.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, okay, moving right along. Consent agenda, I need someone to move that we approve the consent agenda as written.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as written.
Okay, got a motion, need a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, second by Dr. Yeager. All right, so all in favor of approving the consent agenda as written, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Nobody opposes? Okay, moving right along. All right, next, business items for individual vote. The May 2026 financials, there he is, our friend, our CFO, best guy in town, Chris Greiner.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Good evening, members of the board. Dr. Scott, you have before you the financials as of the end of May 31st. Keep it in mind, just make a quick note that these are May. We'll have June and July at the September meeting. Our year end is June 30th, so we're still in the process of closing out the fiscal year. By accounting standards for local governments, we look at receipts July, August. You have a 60-day window for receipts and payables. So every school district goes to this. So we'll file our reports with Georgia Department of Education in September as well. So that'll be the final numbers for June 30th. So I'm going to let Lisa, there we go. So as of May 31st, our actual revenues are tracking pretty much with our budgeted, right around $244 million. Actual expenditures, a little bit, about $1 million less than budgeted. We're about $220 million. Kind of continuing that same pace with expenditures. Revenues, tax receipts have come in a little bit slower toward the end, so we'll kind of look at that number again in June. So we may actually be a little under on our revenues this year, but I think that's just probably more appeals that were approved through the tax digest this past year, but we'll definitely have an update on that in June. Fund balance, again, we've been trending down. We hit our high point November, December when we have all our property tax receipts come in. We had that 2-month period where we collect about 85–90% of the digest. Fund balance, $77.8 million. Again, budgeted was $76.7. It's still trending to that low $50 million, $51, $52 million at the end of June is what we're anticipating. Keeping in mind that our biggest expense in July is we're still, our teacher contracts run through July 31st, so those expenditures, that payroll in July actually goes into the prior fiscal year. So that's why you'll see fund balance trend down. I know right now you're thinking, oh, it's almost $78 million. How's it going to get to the low 50s? But that's how, because most of that July payroll actually goes into the prior fiscal year. So I'll be happy to answer any questions, all the other supporting documentation that we normally provide is there as well. So.
Are there any questions for Mr. Griner? Anybody have anything? I have a question, Chris, if you don't
Yes,
mind.
sir.
I've been hearing a lot of talk about trying to say this where I'm not going to get in too much trouble, which is probably a bad thing. We have a general fund, right? Our main income comes from the tax digest, right? And then we also have we also have East Blast, right? And East Blast does what again?
That's a great question. And I always try to put it during the budget season too. Probably didn't do quite. A lot of times I spend more time on it. General fund is for the daily operations of the school district. So the main funding source is local property taxes, state quality basic education funds that we receive. That's pretty much 96% of our income. SPLOST is specifically, in the referendum, it lists out what projects we can spend that money on, so it has to be spent on that. You could spend, we spend very little on salaries. That's mostly Mr. Gilbert's department. You're not really allowed. There's a lot of categories. It's very limited on what you can spend that money on. Been a lot of talk over the last several years of expanding that. Be interesting to see with the property tax discussions if that gets opened up a little bit more where you can spend. But right now, we can't spend any of that money like on maintenance and operations. It's totally renovations, new construction.
So if we didn't have the East Blast fund, then those renovations and like the AC units that we put in, that came out of East Blast, Mr. Gilbert, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I just need some clarification on that. I had some people ask me some questions and.
Yeah. Now, every now and then if we need a quick repair on an AC unit, like we've had a couple beginning of the school year, we always seem to have a couple. Thoughtfully and thankfully, a couple years ago, I decided to put money in deferred maintenance. So we do use, we ended the year, carried over about 500,000 of that from prior years, and when we put 775,000 in. So we got about $1.3 million this year that we can use for deferred maintenance. Mr. Gilbert and I were talking about a unit. But that's not replacing a majority of the units. That may be one smaller unit, around $100,000. That's what we can take out of there.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, but we try to do that outside of the general fund. General fund is basically for our employees. So that's where the bulk of our money goes into our employees, correct?
Yes, sir. About 86% is salaries and benefits.
All right, thank you for that clarification.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And does anyone else have any questions other than me? Okay, thank you, Mr. Griner.
All right, thank you all.
All right, moving right along. I need a motion that we accept.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second?
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, all right, passes unanimously. There's no personnel, so I guess we don't need to vote on that. There's nothing. There is? I looked and I think I didn't see anything. Did I miss it? Am I not logged in? Well, that's embarrassing, but that's okay. All right, I need a motion for personnel.
I move that we approve the personnel.
I need a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, all right, so this leads us to C, which is policy GCRA, drug screening of bus drivers. I need a motion to accept.
I move that we accept the changes to the policy.
Okay, all right, motion made by Dr. Yeager. I need a second. Second from Ms. Hensley. Okay, and so we're going to open up discussion. Dr. Yeager, do you want, since you're the one who made the motion, you want to start off?
I think it's a sensible policy. If I were going to put a kid on a bus, I would want to make sure the driver was sober. It seems like that's what this policy is about.
Anyone else? Dr. Gant? I know you had some questions. Did you want to mention anything?
Yes, I agree. Definitely understandable as a policy. Just want to be sure that our drivers have the policy support, although this may not be it, but being sure that they have the support that they need when they do run into any particular struggles. And so I understand that that's not this policy, but that's sort of where my questions were. That's why I asked some of the questions I did.
No, I think it's important that, you know, our job is to make sure that our workforce is happy and healthy. You know, like the healthy part, I think we can work on. Happy is something else. Ms. Schwartz, that's correct. We do have those types of programs in place to help our employees who might have some sort of substance addiction or something of that nature.
Correct, and I believe the way the policy is written, it allows us to address the severity of those, you know, infractions. So if it, you know, in a case of mild infraction and disclosed of a situation, we would be able to sort of treat that with the proper care that it needs to be.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Gann, for bringing that up and all that. All right, so I've got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Does anyone have anything they want to add or subtract? Okay, all right. So then I'll call the vote. All in favor of taking the policy as written, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, seeing how that's unanimous. Okay, all right. Moving now to 9, at the information items. All right, so the SPLOS monthly report. Mr. Galbraith.
Good evening, board members. Again, we'll do an update by photos. Cedar Shoals, we're kind of wrapping up, getting all the closeout documents from the contractor. One item that we're doing kind of outside of Carol Daniels' scope of work is a pole barn for the ag program. So that's the footing and foundations going in, and actually materials delivered today, and hopefully get it put up next week and work with the ag teacher on getting, apparently we have award-winning goats. So, you know, we've got to have a home for the goats. So we're working on that. And then after baseball season, we kind of converted the old concession stand to their ticket booth and doing new plumbing fixtures, lighting and such, and be able to use that for football when it comes on. Gaines Elementary, I'm happy to say we got Gaines done on time. The teachers have moved in, furniture's installed, all final inspections have been done with the county. And again, we just have kind of pictures of the campus, new expanded bus canopy, expanded loading dock area. And you can kind of see the soccer field to the right there. The sod's been installed, playground's being installed. Our expanded parking for the health clinic at Hillsman. There's the playground. We got to finish putting the mulch in and get that done. We got about 2 more weeks for the sod to take root, and then they'll be able to get on that play field as well. So all in all, it was a tight project, but Grail was able to get it done on time and get the teachers back in and be able to turn the spaces over to the teachers. Kind of set the new color scheme in the main hallway. And that's one of our wings, that, you know, the new color scheme as well. And I think we got some more photos of classrooms. So that's one of our adaptive rooms, typical standard classroom. I think this is another adaptive room as well. Same adaptive. I believe that's an art room. And kind of one of our standard classrooms. And that's the expanded PL space for the teachers and the staff. The expanded cafeteria and the gymnasium. So unfortunately, we made their gym bigger, so it's regulation now. Before, there was an advantage if you played at Gaines, you had a shorter court, so kids were making half-court shots, and everybody had visions of being in the NBA, and we had to break it to them that it was on a shorter court, so we'll see how that turns out. The remaining photos we're going to run through are the roofing projects that we did. Clark Central, we had the roof and some AC units in the Crawford Gym. Roofing's installed, so we're wrapping that up. Also, Holston Elementary, same thing, new roof on that structure. Got some sheet metal work left to finish, but get that one done as well. HB Stroud 400 wing, new roof put on it. And we also replaced some carpeting and LVT tile in front of the sinks and in the 400 wing. That was not done back in 2012 with the original SPLOST that we did, so we're kind of updating that wing as we go. H.T. Edwards, we have 2 of the 4 buildings complete. The main Career Academy's done. Early learning is pretty much complete. Material has been installed on Classic City and Boys and Girls Club, and we'll be working those in the next 2 weeks, weather permitting, to get those finished. John and Lee Burke's roofing is complete on the shingle as well as the flat roofs. We do have some siding on some of the dormers to complete, and that should wrap up that project as well. Timothy is left to be done. We have the gym work to do and the 2 buildings at H.T. Edwards. So of the 9 projects, 6 of them are pretty well complete with 3 more to go. And hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have all those taken care of. Any questions?
Ms. Bagby?
When you say HVAC, are you talking about like ducts and?
Yes, heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems. Yeah, so it's, some of them are rooftop units, some are inside the building, but it's air conditioning and heat.
So does these HVAC, they prevent mold and stuff? Because what I understand is that City Show's having mold problems, and is this HVAC that you're putting in at City Show's is gonna prevent mold?
That was at Clark Central in the gymnasium. So when you have conditioned air, it will help remove the moisture from the space. So if you do have any high humidity or moisture problems, it will address that.
Okay. So they don't have it at City Show's?
No, ma'am, not that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
Dr. Clark would let me know if we had an issue.
Thank you.
I don't know, she seems kind of shy. So, all right, does anyone else have any other questions for Mr. Gilbert? All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate you. All right, I keep turning my microphone off because I keep forgetting that. All right, next, Dr. Yeager, early Head Start. Did you guys meet at all, or I didn't think so?
Yes, I've been attending the board oversight, that's called the Policy Council Board, and it's a remote meeting, so I just join on Zoom once a month. It's been very interesting. I've learned a lot. There's a lot of bureaucracy associated with our Head Start program. It's pretty impressive. And then the only other thing I'll mention, they've hired some new teachers, and we're on schedule with hiring the teachers that they needed for the rooms. There is something, and I've mentioned it to Dr. Scott, that they're coming up short in their budget because of the increased cost of health care. You know, they have a set budget for so many years, and they're really bumping their heads with some extra costs due to the health insurance. And so I've referred them to talk to Dr. Scott to see if there's a way we can help out, because they were entertaining the idea of shrinking the number of classrooms to meet the budget demand, and that seems like something we don't really want to do. So anyway, it's been carried forward, and we'll see where it goes, but it's been really interesting. I'm really glad to be on the committee.
We're glad you're there too. Okay, Athens Area Community Foundation?
Yeah, they're just still doing great things in the community. There was a new board orientation this past Friday. All board members were there as well. I am part of the Strategic Philanthropy Committee. We're meeting this next Tuesday. And then another board meeting the following week. They're just continuing good work in the community.
Well, that's great. Okay. All right, Envision Athens, Mr. Denson's not here with us, so I guess we don't have a report there. I do need you all to, I'm not going to be able to continue at the Career Academy, which breaks my heart because I love that place. So I was hoping that maybe someone here would, just think about if you have the time. They meet on Tuesdays. They do give you lunch, and the lunch is pretty good. So that's a plus. But yeah, so if that's something that you would like to do, just let me know. And how about we make it first come, first served? How about that? So if you want it, you could text me right after this meeting and let me know, and I'll be glad to give it to you. Okay. All right. That leads us to item number 10, Superintendent remarks. Dr. Scott.
Thank you. So the 2026-2027 school year is off to an amazing start. So we did welcome all staff back on July 29th at our Convocation 2026. Highlights from that day, we did have student speakers, Emmeline Benson, who's a student at Whitehead Road Elementary, as well as Kayla Walker, a student at Clark Central. We welcomed back Clark Central alumni, Dr. James Ofori, as one of our speakers. We also highlighted our 2026 Teachers of the Year and top 10 finalists for Georgia Teacher of the Year, Mr. Timothy Pritchett. Colin Stokes with Classic City Bank and a few members of his team who have close ties to CCSD, either as parents, spouses, or mentors to our students and staff, were also a part of that celebration. We celebrated each of our school's outgoing Teachers of the Year and Support Persons of the Year for one final time. Our staff members connected with our sponsors who contributed nearly $40,000, as well as amazing door prizes to our employee scavenger hunt, as well as a dozen nonprofit partners alongside local vendors through our vendor fair. And of course, more than 80 breakout sessions, which allowed staff to choose topics that were aligned to their personal interests and their professional growth goals. I am also pleased to share that nearly all classroom positions are filled again this year. Only 5 teacher vacancies and 9 paraprofessional vacancies remain, allowing our schools to be prepared to welcome our 12,258 students. As of now, 91% of our eligible high school seniors completed all requirements. 91% completed all requirements to take ownership of their gifted savings portfolio as we ended this last school year. So that has come to an end, but I am very excited to share that through the hard work of our team, we have raised $400,000, matching the $400,000 donation to ensure that we have fully funded this for our senior class for this year. So we are very excited about that and excited to kick that off. And we did that with 2 days to spare. So we are now moving towards raising funds for our class of 2023. We are very thankful to the Athens community for their continued support and for our champions of this partnership for getting out there and spreading the word and truly supporting us, providing our students with not just an investment, but the education that goes along with that. On Friday, August 8th, more than 800 CCSD second graders experienced the magic of reading during a special event that morning at Steckman Coliseum with former UGA and NFL football player Malcolm Mitchell. So after a read aloud with Malcolm and other fun activities, all students left with their own copy of his new book, My Super Duper Me. So thank you to Malcolm and his Share the Magic Foundation, as well as the University of Georgia Athletic Association for once again putting on a terrific event for our thriving students and promoting a culture of literacy across CCSD and the Athens-Clarke County community. We also have several important community events coming up, including 3 progress and plan presentations to review how we're coming along with my 90-day entry plan, where we will be headed to next, and we will be taking questions and having an opportunity to answer questions that were submitted using our feedback at clark.k12.ga.us email address. And all of those are posted on the website as well as on our social media, so we do encourage the community to come out to those events. The district is also bringing back the Volunteer Instructional Leadership Learning Academy, otherwise known as VILA. VILA is a program designed to introduce our community to CCSD on a deeper level. It is an 8-month program that meets once a month. All Clarke County residents who have not participated in the program previously are invited to apply for a spot before August 31st. And for more information, that link can be found on our website. That includes the application as well. So I am looking forward to having our board retreat with each one of you on September 2nd at the Georgia Center, starting at 8:30, but again, a nice, simple breakfast starting at 8. And we are excited to bring back facilitator Dr. Letitia Seabrook-Jones. As Mr. Evans shared, that self-assessment has been launched and is available for you to complete. We will provide you with a draft agenda in Monday's board update. So with that, that concludes my superintendent's report.
All right, thank you, Dr. Scott, which leads us sadly to 11, which is adjournment. Oh, I'm sorry? Oh. I was like, did I miss something? All right, my biggest fear is that I would miss something, so I'm doing okay. All right. Did I get a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
All right, Ms. Davis?
Second.
All right, we got a second. All right. God bless. Go to the Clark Central game. All right, have a good one.